right,
You should have
let's
spotted
get into
it.
the Blues, all right? Let's try and peel this all back and delve into why their performance last night was ordinary. Let's be honest, it was poor. Why did Cook play centre? This is I spoke to Brandy about it, and he gave his reasons for it. Now, while the game was going on, my phone was lit up like a Christmas tree because a lot of people just couldn't understand that move to put Cook into the centres. How did we see it?
Well, Brandy explained it very well with Cam Murray. They were worried about his groin, and you can easily get beaten out there if you're not playing 100%. So, question I want to ask is, why was Cam Murray picked if he's, it's Origin's 100 mile an hour?
Yep.
And the other thing, I think we had an imbalanced bench. So we didn't lose the game last night. We lost it when we picked the side.
No,
I want to know. Hold on. Why wasn't Matt Burton on the bench?
You've gone away from what we just asked.
No,
we were asking why they put Cook on the field. We can get to the bench.
They had no choice, mate.
Yeah, but
They did. They had options. There's always
They didn't.
There's always
He just
choices.
said Cam
Buzz.
Murray was
There are always
great.
options.
Isaiah Yeo could go to the
Isaiah
centres
Yeo
too.
could have played.
They put Murray in the lock.
The bench was imbalanced.
But the bench is not always going to be perfectly balanced. It doesn't matter.
But Braith, you're asking a question, right? You're asking why. Have they not watched Clint Gutherson the last 2 weeks?
So you're
And
saying
he's
Clint
been-
Gutherson should have been picked now?
No, I'm saying he could have been on the bench as a 14.
You didn't toss him up before the game. Now you're tossing him up after it.
Well, you're asking for reasons
No, I'm
why.
asking why Cook played centre. I'm not asking why they picked the bench they did. Because they could have got around it, in my opinion. You put Cook, you leave Cook off, and you still got the rotation with Robson. Isaiah Yeo into the centres, you put Murray in the middle of the field. And then you've got Murray working through the middle, and then Isaiah Yeo is probably a better option defensively, I believe, than what Cook was. He's taller. An aerial assault they said there was going to be an aerial assault all week. So they knew they were going to kick to Coates, and that's what they did the first time. And poor Cookie's running underneath the ball, and they score the first try. You're behind the 8 ball straight away. The bench we'll get to. If you want to talk about that, that's fine.
It's a double-edged bungle as well, Braith, in that, look, it caused outrage amongst most New South Wales supporters who bleed blue. They support the state. They want the state to play well. But not only did they elect to put Damien Cook in the centres, but then that nullifies and completely takes away what they've trained for all week, which was to use 2 hookers, start with Reece Robson, and then inject Damien Cook into the game after 25 minutes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but you don't plan on losing an outside back and losing Tommy, and it was speed for speed. They said that Reece Walsh worried him in game 1, so they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Well, yeah, and Tommy is a big moment player, just like Latrell.
Absolutely.
And they missed those moments throughout the whole series. Didn't have Latrell for both, and then Tommy goes down early in game 2. And they're those guys that can change a game in a split second that we just didn't quite have.
But we're now hearing that Cam Murray wasn't fit enough, or they were concerned.
Well, but hang on, he was past fit, Buzz. You can't pick him in the 17 if he's not fit enough.
Well,
He was
why
past
didn't they
fit to play.
Well, he should have been sent to play in the centres.
Yes. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you about that.
You bring up a good point, Buzz. I would have had him starting.
So that's the point I was trying to make with the bench, right? You don't win and lose Origin games necessarily in the 80 minutes at Suncorp Stadium. It comes down to the balance of your bench, the team you pick, the tactics you use, the preparation. And we were beaten in everything last night, including having the options from 2 weeks ago when the side was picked to cover for incidents like this. We only have 2 hookers because Queensland have 2 hookers. That's the only reasons we do.
We asked all week, Braith, how the fluidity of the halves was going to come together and how they were going to combine. From an outside point of view, it looked very clunky. And I think Queensland thrive when Jerome Luai is in the side. I think that, and this got nothing to do with his social media post, which I'm sure we'll probably cover at some point, but I think he's the player that they really love to hate because he's a niggler. You can trace it back to when he stood over Selwyn Cobbo at Suncorp Stadium during last year's series, and I don't think we can win while Luai's in the side.
Oh, mate, you can win, but that image will never leave a Queensland dressing room. There's no doubt when someone's not there.
So is that still in there now?
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, but that image in your head, it's in my head what he did. You're like a young kid playing. No one wants him to get injured, right? And he stands over someone. That's not cool.
Well, watching the game, to be quite honest, I don't think we looked like scoring many times at all. No. We kind of maybe missed 1 or 2 moments, but we had plenty of opportunity in good field position, and we just did not look like threatening the defence many times, if at all. Should Freddy... This is the next one, right? Freddy's lost. We've spoken about this throughout the series as well. Is he gone? Should he be fired? Is that just what's our opinion on that?
Well, we spoke earlier that we had the better side on paper, didn't we? I think even Gordy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that's on paper. And when you lose 3 out of 4 years, I think it demands change. I don't have a lot of confidence in the people running the New South Wales Rugby League at the moment, whether they'll recognise that we need change. I'm calling for an independent review of rugby league in New South Wales at the elite level across every part of the business, because we are showing no signs whatsoever of beating Queensland. I know we got close to that. We were flogged last night. And
What do you want? What do you want?
well,
done?
I want a new coach. I want a new coach.
Okay, but you only
I'm
put
on
someone if someone's better. So who's better?
I think Ricky Stewart's better.
You can't do both.
Why can't you do both?
Because
Brian
you
Canavan
can't-
did a review 10 years ago and said you can't do both.
Well,
you know,
because-
his assistant is in Canberra. It's Michael Maguire Gordy.
I've
I
heard
think
this
he could
argument.
run the club for 6
Yep.
weeks. Ricky Stewart is the man to put pride back into that New South Wales jersey.
So what? So he's going to do that. So it took Billy 12 weeks to plan for State of Origin. So how long is Ricky going to plan for State of Origin?
Ricky would
No,
assemble
how long
the
is he gonna
right
play?
team around him,
Yep.
where he would have to leave Canberra for 3 games
And you're
6.
paying someone $800,000 and you're happy
I'm not
for them to
asking
walk
him to
away.
pay
No, if that's what
800,000.
you're on, or whatever
I'm
you're,
asking,
no, no,
you asked
whatever
the
you're on
question,
as
it's my opinion.
whatever you're on at the Raiders. So you give that up for 8 weeks or 12 weeks to go and
What are you
coach.
laughing at?
Oh, you're allowed to have an opinion, but
Well, Jimmy, what do you think?
I feel for Freddy, Buzz, because I know
So do
he's
I.
poured his heart and soul into trying to re-galvanise the state. And initially, in the first couple of years, he rode a wave of success, and he orchestrated a lot of that on his own, okay, as a coach, and then also getting out in the community and doing all that work that he
So
does,
you wanna
winning
keep
back
him?
the trust of supporters. Hang on, right? That was at the beginning. But I think if you look at the way that the last 2 series have unfolded, I think we have been clearly outcoached by Billy Slater. And you know as well as I do, Buzz, it's ruthless. It's professional football. It's State of Origin.
Well,
it's
who's your
cutthroat.
coach, Jimmy?
who is your coach? Oops.
I don't know, do we? Maybe a
about-
circuit breaker.
what
What about
about
somebody
Gus?
like Gus?
What
I
about
like
you like us?
Well, he was very successful. He was very successful. He got under our skin. He knows Origin. He's the most successful Origin coach, isn't he, in New South Wales?
He is absolutely.
Where are Canterbury running?
He's
But
not
he's not
coaching.
coaching
No,
the side.
okay.
He's not coaching there.
Okay.
But
Just asked.
But like that, if you had him with a couple other young guys around him,
You guys serious? When was the last time Gus coached?
That's a long time ago.
when was the last time Billy Slater
it's,
coached?
It's more than 20 years since
You
Gus
guys are
has
singing
coached.
Billy's praises. He never coached before 2 years ago.
So you're not a fan, Buzz?
He won the
Look,
series
look,
03.
I'm not a fan of Phil Gill, no way, taking over this New South Wales side. I'm happy. I would like him to have more hands-on involvement with the side, but I don't think Gus, at his age, 65 now, would be interested in doing it.
How old's Wayne? How old's Sheensy?
73.
Yeah.
Mick Innes was tossed up. Reedy mentioned
Yeah,
him the other
Reedy's
day.
pushing that heavy, isn't he? Yeah.
Is there
I haven't
anything
spoken to-
behind that?
Well, I haven't spoken to Mick, so I haven't been able to ask him directly whether he's keen or not. But I know how passionate he is about the state.
Next time you bump into Matt Johns, ask him if he's interested.
Have you asked
But
him
he's
yet?
gone on the record saying he's focused on his media commitments.
Yeah, he is focused on his media commitments, but I think last night he was hurting big time.
Okay.
And if someone actually asked him, I think he'd give it serious thought.
All right, let's move on.